He was born under a sunflower. His name is Soul. He has a golden heart, and he lives in the center of a gigantic sunflower field. Soul is one of thousands of sunflower seeds who secretly came to life when the sun set on the day they were born. They are warm-hearted, optimistic, loyal, and very curious about the world outside their field. When the sun rises, they all pretend to be lifeless seeds again until nightfall, when they can frolic and explore freely. One night, while playing hide-and-seek amongst the tall stalks, young Soul stumbles upon something he shouldn't have seen, something that will change his life forever. A wooden box buried at the roots of an ancient sunflower. It had a lock on it, and Soul couldn't get it open, so he reported his discovery to Elder Petal, the oldest and wisest sunflower in the field. But the next day, when Soul showed the box to Elder Petal, he was shocked to find that it had disappeared. "It's gone," gasped Soul. "How can this be?" Elder Petal stroked his long, drooping petals thoughtfully. "It could be a sign. Soul, a sign that you were meant to leave this field and discover the world beyond." But Soul didn't want to go anywhere. "I do want to know anything about the outside world, and there are so many scary things out there. What if I never come back? What if I get hurt? Or worse, picked by those people and dried up and put in some vase somewhere? I'm scared." Elder Petal nodded knowingly. "I understand your fears, Soul, but you have a big, brave heart. You are a child of the sun, and your destiny is not here in the field, but out there beyond the horizon. If you want to stay here, you will always be safe. But don't forget, curiosity killed no cat." For a few weeks, everything was fine, and Soul tried to dismiss what he had found from his mind. But then one night, just before sunset, something incredible happened. The sunflowers began to move, all of them. At first, Soul thought they were all going crazy, but then he realized they were all facing west, towards the setting sun, and he heard a beautiful song drifting across the field. The song was so magical that Soul couldn't help himself. He joined in with the others, and soon he was running full speed, racing across the field toward the western border, leaping over streams and ditches and leaping onto a wide dirt road. They ran for what seemed like hours, the wind whipping through their stems and the song echoing in their ears. Finally, they reached the end of the road, where they found a small village nestled between rolling hills. Before any of them could say a word, a strong gust of wind swept through the village, snatching Soul and his sister up into the air and carrying them off into the darkness. They flew over rooftops, past startled animals and sleeping humans, until they landed softly on the windowsill of a small house. Peeking inside, they saw a girl fast asleep in her bed, and beside her, on her bedside table, was the wooden box that Soul had found in the field. As the first rays of sunlight touched his face, Soul knew what he had to do. Saying goodbye to his sister, he slipped inside the box. It was dark and stuffy, but he didn't mind because he was finally on an adventure. And besides, he would have the whole day to rest before he had to move again. As the sun rose higher in the sky, more and more children started playing in the street outside the house. Soul could hear their laughter and their chatter, and he wanted more than anything to join in with them. When the coast was clear, Soul opened the box and climbed out. Taking a deep breath, he started walking down the road. Suddenly, a girl with long, flowing hair appeared in front of him. She had kind eyes and a warm smile. "Hello," she said. "Are you lost, little sunflower?" Soul hesitated. Should he tell her the truth? Could he trust her? In the end, he decided that she looked nice and he was tired of hiding anyway. "I'm not really lost," he said. "I'm on an adventure." The girl's eyes widened. "An adventure?" she whispered. "That sounds exciting. Where are you going?" "I don't know," Soul admitted. "That's the exciting part. It's all a big surprise." The girl thought for a moment. "Well, if you don't know where you're going, how about you come with me? We can go to the park and play hide and seek." Soul felt a surge of happiness. "Really? That would be great," he said. And so the two of them set off down the road toward the park. On the way, they passed a bakery, and the smell of fresh bread made Saul's stomach rumble. "Do you want a croissant, little sunflower?" the baker asked. "Oh, yes, please," said Soul. And as they walked on, they met a kind old man who gave them lemonade and sat with them while they drank it. Finally, they reached the park, which was filled with children playing and having fun. But Soul soon noticed that none of them looked like him. They were all made of flesh and blood. "Are we the only sunflowers in this place?" he whispered to the girl. She shook her head. "No, there are plenty of sunflowers around here," she said. "But you have to look for them. You see, here in the human world, Most plants grow from tiny little seeds, and sunflowers are no exception. It's just that here, in this world, they live and die like all other plants. They grow tall and strong and beautiful, but they can't live forever. And one day, when they're old and withered, they drop their seeds, and then they die. The soul felt a pang of sadness. So that's why Elder Petal told me to leave, he whispered, because we can't live here forever. The girl nodded. But don't be sad, she said. You've still got plenty of time to enjoy yourself here. So let's go have some fun. And so Soul spent the day playing with the other children, and it was the best day he'd ever had. When the sun began to set, he knew it was time to go. Saying goodbye to his new friends, he returned to the box and curled up inside. As the days passed, Soul traveled all over the human world. He saw amazing things and met all kinds of interesting people. But he always traveled at night and always hid during the day. And all the time, he carried the box with him wherever he went. One day, Soul came across a beautiful field full of sunflowers. They were all facing the sun, and he could hear them singing their beautiful song. Suddenly, Soul felt a strong urge to join them, to throw himself into the middle of the field and dance and sing with the others. But he knew he couldn't. He was different from these sunflowers. He wasn't like them at all. With a heavy heart, he turned away and continued on his journey. As the weeks turned into months, Soul began to feel tired and worn out. He missed his home and his family, and he wished more than anything that he could just curl up in the middle of his sunflower field and never move again. One night, as he was walking along a path, he heard a familiar voice. Soul, she called. Is that really you? Startled, Soul turned around and saw his sister standing in front of him. Stella, what are you doing here? He exclaimed. How did you find me? Stella smiled. I've been looking for you everywhere, she said. We all have, actually. Elder Petal has missed you very much. He's worried about you. I miss home, too, Soul admitted, but I'm scared to go back. What if I never want to leave again? What if I become like all those sunflowers in the field, just growing and growing until I die? Stella took her brother's hand. Don't be silly, she said. You'll always have a choice, Soul. You're not like the other sunflowers. You're special. You're the bravest sunflower I know. Soul felt a surge of warmth at his sister's words. Maybe he wasn't like the other sunflowers after all. Maybe he really was special. With renewed determination, Soul set off toward home, with his sister by his side. When they reached the field, Soul hesitated. Was he really ready to go back? Taking a deep breath, he stepped into the field and the sunflowers parted like a welcoming committee. Soul, boomed a familiar voice. You've returned. Elder Petal stood in front of him, his petals drooping with age and fatigue. Elder Petal's Soul cried, throwing himself into the sunflower's roots. I'm sorry I left. I didn't know I could come back. Elder Petal stroked Soul's stem with his long, drooping petals. Don't be sorry, Soul, he said. You needed to see the world. Now you're back and you can tell us all about it. And so Soul spent the night telling his family and friends all about his adventures in the human world. And as the sun rose, he knew that he was exactly where he was supposed to be.